Can I just say that Annie Sasko, who is with the IARC, was already calling at the last classification for it to go up to a 2A. She felt that some of the evidence that was not considered would have promoted it up to a 2A. And also, we're now seeing lots of spikes of cancer rates. The Danish Cancer Society last year noticed a doubling of glioblastoma cases over 10 years. Our own Office of National Statistics last year released statistics showing that brain tumours had increased by over 50% from 1999 to 2009, and it's now the leading cancer death in children. China announced last year an increase of childhood cancers of 3,000%, and Israel just this year have announced that over the last 10 years thyroid cancer has gone up by 250% in Arab women and 67% in Jewish women.
Okay,
so we've got lots of sort of statistics which are pointing towards something is raising cancer rates. If it goes alongside the rise in wireless technologies, that could mean in 10-15 years' time that the classification could go up. I think it's reasonable to assume that it may.
I don't want to get back into the health debate too much, but thank you for clarifying that. Just, I'm conscious we're quite short of time, and there are other areas we want to discuss. I would just ask if there are. You said that the government should terminate the smart meter implementation programme before any more lives and money is wasted. I think it's a term you use. Are there any circumstances in which you would support the introduction of smart meters? For example, if a cheaper wired solution was proposed or some alternative method of rollout?
We'll be publishing shortly a report that was done just a few months ago called Getting Smarter About the Smart Grid, and that proposes some robust alternatives to the smart grid as it currently is designed and proposed. That don't compromise people's health, that don't put our grid at risk from cyber attack, that don't compromise our security, that puts power back in the hands of consumers. And so yes, there are circumstances, but smart meters as they currently stand are not smart at all.
Thank you.
Can I just get a feeling from you, Mr. Mitcham, as to the relative weight of risk that you ascribe to smart meters as opposed to any other form of electronic communication?
Yeah.
So, are you saying to us today that smart meters represent a unique cyber risk, or an advanced cyber risk in terms of the extent to which the information can be accessed, the arrangements can be compromised, which I presume also goes in terms of any sort of radio communications on smart grid, for example, on substation status, etc. Or are you saying that actually everything that relates to radio Wi-Fi type communications, such as banking, such as traffic management, etc., is similarly compromisable on a similar scale to that you are reporting as far as smart meters are concerned? I mean, is it a general point you are making about the compromisable nature of Wi-Fi, or is it a point you are making about the compromisable nature of smart meters?
The unfortunate reality that we live in is that cyber warfare is on the increase. We have Boeing, who've developed electromagnetic pulse missiles recently. We have various rogue nations being talked about as having EMP capable ballistics. An electromagnetic pulse, whether it's natural or man-made, could devastate our energy supplies. The difference between, in my mind, and why we initiated this campaign is that if a bank gets hit with cybersecurity, in fact there is an ongoing cybersecurity attack in the US financial system currently. We recently saw the biggest ever distributed denial of service attack on the internet levelled against a company on the European continent that handled spam, and fortunately that attack was seen off only because they had specialist expertise and engineers on site to be able to fend off such an attack. What we're talking about here is neither a bank going down or a spam hosting company or a traffic light system going down. We're talking about the UK's entire domestic energy and utility supply being put onto the internet, being given an IP, publicly addressable address with functionality within the smart meter for that smart meter to remotely disconnect your utility and your power, potentially at a time when you need it most. Smart meters are incredibly, as well, designed to fail to off. So if they are compromised or they're hacked or you stop paying your bill, services can be remotely disconnected. If your utility can remotely disconnect you, somebody in any given nation you care to mention, whether they are government, rogue or citizen who's bored one day, with the right technical know-how, can potentially disconnect a house, a block, a community, a town, or a series of businesses, or even an entire nation.
That also goes to your computer and your bank account.
Yes, it does, but at least I'm going to be able to cook my dinner and get a drink of water.
No, I'm just trying to get a view of the relative.
Yeah, there is risk, and those risks are taken on board by private businesses whenever they web enable anything. But what we're talking about here is the UK's domestic energy and utility supply being put onto the internet, and in my mind that's reckless.
Who funds the work of Stop Smart Meters?
We are self-funded.
Self-funded.
Do you publish accounts?
No.
We just spend our own money.
So the report, you just referred to publishing a report.
The report that I just referred to was actually by Professor Dr Tim Sheckley on behalf of, I can't remember the name of the National Institute, but it wasn't commissioned by us. It was done in the States, and many of the recommendations are very sound and very positive.
The one you said you were about to say something was that smart meters aren't smart, or there's some title you said you were trailing.
Getting smarter about the smart grid.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
But that's not yet appeared?
I'm sorry?
That report has not yet appeared?
It's available online. We'll publish it later today.
So you didn't, that wasn't commissioned by you, that one?
It wasn't submitted in evidence by us, no.
No, so was it commissioned by Stop Smart
No.
Meters? I see, okay, fine. No. Okay, thank you very much for coming in.